Meanwhile, Turkish President Erdogan is saying that Hamas is not a terrorist group, but rather a liberator for the Palestinian people. He claims Israel's operations in Gaza amount to genocide and is condemning Israel and the West for not putting a stop to the war. No mention of the fact that Hamas has taken these 224 hostages. Joining me right now is former NBA star Enes Kanter Freedom, who has been outspoken on the atrocities in the world, including communist China. Enes, thanks very much for being here. How do you read all of this?
Thank you for having me. I mean, when I heard about for the first time, I really thought it was the fake onion news. But then I saw his speech and I couldn't believe my ears. And Turkey is supposed to be a NATO ally. And I cannot believe it. Organizations like Hamas, Hezbollah, getting so much support from countries like Iran and Turkey. And especially Turkey, they raise so much money, and actually Turkish government gives them passport, which is crazy. But let me tell this to you, Maria. Unfortunately, the battle of the leadership of the Muslim world has begun. And do you know what's so ironic? I want to talk about dictator Erdogan a little bit because he wants to be the savior of the Muslim world. He talks about the Muslims in Palestine and how he supports them and stuff. But at the same time, he kills my Kurdish Muslim brothers and sisters daily. Erdogan claims to fight the PKK, but every Kurdish city, under curfew and leveled whole residential areas. And also, if he really cares about the Muslims, why doesn't he say a word about the Uyghur ongoing genocide in China, about the Uyghur Muslims? Erdogan is the biggest problem in the region. And I'm getting thousands of messages daily from my Armenian brothers and sisters. I'm praying for them and I feel bad for them. And same with Greeks. He's harassing the Greek people. So enough is enough.
Yeah.
The leaders like Erdogan is taking advantage of the weak, Biden administration right now, and they're doing whatever they want. So our administration needs to be tough on these dictatorships.
Yeah. Well, look, Erdogan wanted the world to know where he stands, and he stands with Hamas.
Yep.
And that's why I want to get your take on Erdogan and what you're hearing from friends or potential family back in Turkey. You are a Turkish-American citizen who is doing incredibly well in America and have the courage to call out atrocities. How did that happen? Tell me about what you know of Turkey, given your background, and Erdogan.
I mean, right now, it's tough because I can't even travel outside of the United States because I have a bounty on my head. They put my name on Interpol list. They revoked my passport. I have 12 arrest warning for me just because I talk about the political prisoners and human rights violations in Turkey. And Turkey could have been a bridge of Islam and West, but just because of Erdogan, it is impossible. So I had to have a conversation. I have to have a conversation with FBI once a week to make sure that I'm okay.
Wow.
I get death threats daily.
That is just so unfair and unbelievable, Enes. Well, look, you received the Gentleman of Distinction Award at the 2023 Independent Women's Forum Gala yesterday. Congratulations to you. Tell us about the event, and you've got to feel good about the courage and strength that you, of course, carry all day, every day.
After I got released from the NBA, I have hundreds of awards, but the Patriot of the Year award and the Women Independence Forum Award was definitely the most special one because I actually wanted to dedicate that award to my mother and my sister, which I haven't seen almost 10 years because of the dictatorship in Turkey. But being in that room, seeing hundreds of brave women who stands for what they believe in, even if it means sacrificing everything, it gives me so much hope and motivation to fight for what's right. So it was an amazing, amazing night. And I'm very thankful for it.
And of course, you have been fighting against atrocities in China as well, Enes, and you got some real backlash from the NBA when you called out the way you should. You did the right thing by calling out communist China. Since the last time we've spoken, many cabinet members have gone to China. We're waiting on Secretary Blinken to meet with his counterpart here in the U.S. from China. What are your thoughts on the approach and the response from the United States on all of the aggression coming out of China? And I should point out that China supports Iran and Iran supports Hamas. So they're integrated in all of this.
just like you said, China supports Hamas and Iran supports Hamas. It's unbelievable why our administration is still weak when it comes to China. I mean, I believe just Gavin Newsom just a couple of days ago or yesterday just met with Xi Jinping, the president of China, and he has not said a word about any human rights violations, I believe. So enough is enough. Our administration, like I said again, needs to be tougher on this dictatorship, because these dictatorships taking advantage of our weak administration.
Well,
so I just hope that we can amplify this human rights message.
You're so spot on. I mean, what a joke. Gavin Newsom goes to China and meets Xi Jinping. First of all, he's not the president. Why is he meeting with Xi Jinping? Secondly, he goes there to talk about climate change. Did he raise the issue of covering up COVID-19? Did he raise the issue of a massive surveillance program in America? Did he raise the issue of bullying our ships and stealing intellectual property? I don't know.
I don't think so. But it's just sad to see. Like you said, again, he's not the president. And I'm sure he went there to talk about all the businesses that are going on in California. But listen, there's a genocide happening while we are talking. Raise that issue. Raise about the COVID issue. Raise about But I do not believe so. Trust me.
I know you're not in the court anymore, Enes, but who are you watching in the NBA right now?
I mean, I think my favorite is going to be from the East. I'm taking the Bucks, and from the West, I'm taking the Phoenix.
All right.
So we'll see what happens.
Good to see you this morning, sir. Thank you.